have no B-roll for. What was her name, Kitty?
Is it really foreshadowing if the future self is saying exactly what's happening?
Welcome to the next reading vlog in the Sun Eater series. We will be continuing with the Queen Amid the Ashes. Technically, I already listened to that at the very beginning of the month. Never did the review for it though, or updated. So I'm going to listen to it again on our long car drive up to Birmingham for my daughter's eye doctor appointment. Unfortunately, there will be no trip to the bookstore though, because we have to find something else. And then we have to get back in time to get my son from school, and then to gymnastics, and then to soccer, and other soccer, because of course their practices can't be at the same time. It's kind of good, kind of bad. I don't know. Oh well, that's what we're doing though. So I'm going to re-listen to it so I can actually do the review and let you know my thoughts. And then there'll be the ebook for Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 1, and maybe starting Demon in White by tomorrow, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Yes. And filming this weekend's video. And have not started any of the list for Monday yet either, but it's been a week. A lot of things have been happening this past week, and the urge to film has just not been there, so we haven't. Okay, all right, that was an update. I'm Morgan. If this happens to be your first time here, I don't remember where I'm putting this vlog. I think I'm going to attach it to the review like last time, so we'll see if you're actually a first-time person here or not. Thank y'all for clicking, and let's go. Finally, I did the book haul video that I was planning to do in January and February. I thought this year I would do like one mini book haul a month because, getting in the book box books, and then some of them didn't arrive until like a month later, and also the one I filmed for January just was awful, and I was like, I can't do this. But the point of this vlog though is the Sun Eater. I finished Queen Amid the Ashes again, and see, I thought of a really good thing to say the first time I read it. There was a commentary on Hadrian and how future, present, older Hadrian is like foreshadowing on it, but all I can remember is that I did have a thought. That's it. In Queen Amid the Ashes though, we are following Hadrian. I'm not sure how many years he's been a Knight Victorian now at this point in this service of the Emperor. I do believe it said at some point 5 years is the time he's been awake. And Valka's only been out and awake for like 1 year. Yes. And their thing, she calls herself his paramour when he was afraid to say that word because he's like, I didn't think she wanted to like really define us. But they have gone to the world of Thagora, which was captured by the Cielsen about 10 years ago. And that's why I think it's 12 years. I think is the time for Hadrian. Because he received this mission to go free the world of Thagora 10 years ago. But space travel being what it was, it took them that long to get there. And since this was his mission given to him, yeah, that's what I'm going to. But they are there. The story starts after they have already really defeated the Cielsen and driven them off the planet and out of the system. And he is just landing to find the humans, survivors, and he meets the Baroness. And she has been living along with her court in an underground bunker from before the world was really human habitable. So it's very opulent, but they've been underground for 10 years. So, they're not doing great, except she's living in this luxurious place. And just meeting her, she's immediately trying to seduce Hadrian. It's very weird. Valka's there though, so it wouldn't have worked even if Valka wasn't there, but that's when she calls herself his paramour. And Valka immediately hates this woman. Immediately hates her and feels like something is weird. And the Cielsen though they'd ravaged the world, but they'd been camped at the poles because that is a place where there's not very much light, and this world spins so slowly that it's like years of nighttime up there somehow. So Hadrian goes up there to finish capturing the poles and, drive out the last of the Cielsen that were on the planet and free those people. They only free about 10,000 people. Well, I think that was just from that one camp. Overall, half the population of Thagora was wiped out. But the biggest part of this story is, okay, well, there's a few things. Hadrian talks to another Cielsen here before having to kill him, and they find this monument at one of the slaughterhouses, pretty much, that is kind of serpentine shaped, and it's made out of people heads. And the Cielson tells them that it is a monument to something that they worship, and this is Hadrian's first encounter or mention of anything of this. You don't learn very much about it, but it's told, though, pretty much that you will later on. And also finding out what they do to the prisoners and why they were actually there that long is quite a horrible reason, but they needed to restock their, food supply. And humans breed and grow so slowly. And then you find out things about the Baroness, and this is the real big thing that comes here, and future Hadrian is telling about how he judged the Baroness and, was self-righteous and stuff. Well, he doesn't call himself self-righteous, but just the way he thought about her and what she did is the way people would speak of him after Gododin, when it was on a much bigger scale what he did than what she did. They leave it vague like that, even though, are we saying spoilers here? Maybe. But you can probably think of what it is. Like, she made the comment, this is what lords do when raiders come to, deprive them of resources. So that was that. And I have opened up The Tales of the Sun Eater, and no, it's not a graphic novel. It is a collection of more short stories, which is interesting, because this one is not in Tales of the Sun Eater, so it's weird. I don't know. But it's about 200 something pages, so I will not be starting Demon in White today, because I'll have to get through that. I might be able to start Demon in White by Sunday. Maybe.
It's Sunday afternoon. I've had a little time to sit down and read, mostly because I was eating, so that's what I did. I finished the first book of The Tales of the Sun Eater. Short story. Let's call it that. I don't even remember what it's called. But in it, Hadrian has gone to this planet because they received not even a distress signal, but a legion that was supposed to be traveling through that system, vanished. Nobody know where it went. So he was sent to go find the missing legionaries. He finds some of them and some horrible things. We already knew that the Cielson and the extrasolarians, worked together for a long time. They had, I guess working, that was the right word. And we know that the extras blend machines into themselves or make whole other bodies for their consciousness to go to, or at least the exalted do. So the very high up people who have been living forever, kind of exalted extras. Now, one of the Cielson princes is apparently hiring the extrasolarians to make these bodies for the Cielson. And Hadrian has to fight one of them. And this is a whole new ball game being discovered. So I'm very glad that I did just go ahead and finish it, because I was almost I have so much cleaning to do. I'm just going to start book 3. I'm just going to start the audiobook for it, because I can do that while I clean and do all the chores. But I started the first few minutes, and I'm like, what if I spoil myself for Tales of the Sun Eater? Because I was trying to rationalize it. It's it'd be okay. But then I'm like, wait, no, I'm trying to vlog my reactions to this. So it's okay, no, don't do it. Just hold off and try to find time to read this 170 pages. Okay, and it was kind of worth it, because that was the big thing to find out. Okay, so that's all for now. Still have no idea when I can start book 3.
Update for here, because we are 64%. I don't know why I showed that to you. It's just going to be a glare screen probably through with Tales of the Sun Eater. Really expect to finish today. There's 80 pages left. I should have finished yesterday probably. Okay, it's been interesting. Our first story, I think I already told you about the first story, where it was Hadrian. And then the second story was told from the position of a judge with the Chantry, who pretty much sentences people to death all the time, mostly extrasolarians. And there is a woman, and it's the first time that she's ever had a woman brought before her that's an extra. And so she really feels more for this person who's pretty much only the face is still a human looking face. And there's a child, a normal child. Nothing's been done to the child, nothing altered with the child. So she's feeling very conflicted about this. And of course, though, it plays out because it's the Chantry. So, the woman's gonna die. But this person is noticing, empathy for these creatures for the first time. And she can't really understand why. But just seeing their zealousness, and then yet to be, actually showing empathy for this person that is completely not human anymore, and they can barely even think of it as human except when they're noticing it trying to protect its child. Then in Not Made for Us, it is in the past. Yes, because we're not going in a timeline order at all, and we are seeing a legionary officer who has just been brought out of Fugue and being sent into a mission where they haven't really been briefed on what's going on. This is after the war started, but these people have been on ice for a while, and they had no idea that the Sealson were a thing, and they have just broken into a Sealson world ship. This legionary comes across civilians within this, not even just fighters, like yes, fighters, but also children. And the fact that they discovered that Sealson eat people too, so, there's that. Then the Night Captain is actually seen from the Night Captain of the Tamerlane, which is Hadrian's ship, right after, though, Hadrian has become a Knight Victorian. And the Night Captain is a position when they are traveling between the stars. So while most people are in fugue and frozen and time's not moving for them, there does have to be a skeleton crew that is awake and is managing the ship while this is happening. They have stopped for fuel somewhere and get boarded by some extras who are going to take the nobles and palatines for ransom to, get money from the Empire or their families. And our poor captain has to fight these off and find out, what he's really made of, because he's like, I've never actually seen combat. And this is him also getting to see Marlowe, be a defender of people, and seeing what the stories say about him, because he kept calling him Mad Marlowe, and seeing how this is going to be someone that I trust and I'm going to be willing to follow. So I feel that's important. The Duelist was kind of more of a comedy sketch one, where it's two lordlings fighting over the honor of one of them's sister. Okay, so there are only 2 more stories left. I'm going to start A Parliament of Owls here in a little bit, and I'll update you when I'm finally done. This is going to be done today. And then I will start Demon in White tomorrow. Yes, and we will get this done. We will totally get this done. That way I could do the vlog, and I could put the review up next week during spring break.
Let's hope the audio works on this one. I haven't tested it, and sometimes when it closes and opens back up, the audio doesn't work, but the camera audio is on, even if it will suck. Almost halfway, maybe a little further than this, because the audiobook. And oh my gosh, yeah, I like Hadrian so much more in this one. I don't know, maybe it's because he's grown up, or because he hasn't had to make these awful decisions like in the last book. We're seeing more of what he was, and but he's thinking of himself as to what he was versus what he is now. And there is the other Xenobites that is the Eriktani are a bird people, and this is a species that we have been in contact with for however many thousand years, and we still consider them like a subspecies, of course, because they're not human intelligent. Nobody can be as intelligent as us, but we work together instead of just wiping them out, and they are not treated quite so badly as the species on Imesh, so that's good. They actually do fight with the legions of the Empire, and when Hadrian first meets them, there is an incident, and this is where you can see his former self kind of shine through too, because it would have been that what happened, these Eriktani that had they attacked him because they had been paid to kill him by presumably a member of the Chantry, which, that tracks. That makes a lot of sense. And I've got ahead of myself in the story by talking about this point, but Hadrian is like, no, don't kill them. That's not truly their fault, and especially because they were going to kill this entire group. Not just the ones who did it, but all of them. And Hadrian's like, no. He knew who the main one was. And they said a few other names, and it's we will whip them. Same as common soldiers. But they did that, and then Hadrian is getting sent off on this mission by the emperor to recover another lost legion. It was pretty much a fool's errand. They did not expect him to succeed because Hadrian's star is shining way too brightly, and a lot of the political forces believe he is a problem. So he goes and he's like, I want these men, or these Eriktani, I want them to be part of my mission. So he's pretty much saving them from any backlash that could have come after them because of them failing in their mission to kill Hadrian. And on this mission, he is given a squire of Prince Alexander, one of the youngest sons of the emperor, who has over 100 children. kind of train him in the ways of being a knight, because the emperor actually does like Hadrian. He actually knows what happened on Vorgozos. He's not like in the dark kind of emperor. He knows a lot of stuff. He knows more than the ministers know who are trying to get rid of Hadrian. Very interesting. And Hadrian and Valka hates all the political maneuvering and everything that's going on Fulcrum, which is where the emperor lives. And so Hadrian takes Alexander and they go off on this fool's errand of a mission, and yet they succeed. And the Demon in White, the name comes very early because so two at least stories from Tales of the Sun Eater have come into play in this book. The Cielsen, they're mixing with the machines now. That is what the Demon in White was. It was a Cielsen machine. It was crazy. That whole situation was crazy. And unfortunately, after, they come back and there's a giant party in Hadrian's honor, and he calls Alexander a brat to Valka because Valka's complaining about the whole royal family. And while Hadrian, yes, he does kind of think Alexander was a brat, is a little bit of a brat because he's young. He didn't really mean the part about not wanting him around, I feel like. Like he did when he first got Alexander, but now he's proud of Alexander and how he's grown, and like that Alexander like accepted some of the things Hadrian was teaching him. But Alexander, of course, overheard, and now there's this rift between them, and that's part of them. But in the emperor's wisdom to, make Hadrian not as hated by the ministers, but this is a huge backfire, he has engaged Hadrian to his daughter, Princess Selene. The mission they went on, though, sorry this is so out of order, really should have updated sooner so that the things could have been more coherently in order. Hadrian and Alexander and the whole Red Company, they went to Gadadin. The Gadadin we have heard so much about, and including in this one. When he got there was so much foreshadowing of his future self. Isn't it really foreshadowing if the future self is saying exactly what's happening? I don't think that's foreshadowing. There's got to be some other trick that I just don't know the name of right now. Okay, so I should stop talking, updating. And probably most of this has actually been like audiobook. I have not hardly physically read at all, and I will probably not physically read much today either, as today gets to be clean the house day. Or as you can see behind me, I also still have to make my list for the Monday video and finish up my anticipated releases for like spring, so like April through June. I just feel so behind on like everything. Cleaning, reading, well, audiobooking makes it easier. List making. Okay, that's our update though. And we crossed 700 today. Yay! That's exciting. That's super exciting. And the Aurelium TBR came out. Also, I totally messed up the number generator one. And I admit that. I put it in the text, but I'll probably have to end up redoing that, which is sad because it was Kingdoms of Death was that one. So I'm still going to have to read the book and do the number generator again. Yeah. Oh, well. Okay. We're going to move on. And we'll come back with more spoilers in a little bit. I really should have updated last night. Yes, because there's so much that happened. Hadrian has tried to be assassinated. Hadrian has had 2.5 assassination attempts. Let's go with that. Because I'm going to consider the Chantry being on a ship to just ask him questions is also part of an assassination attempt. Like, the first part that they had done didn't work. Wait, no, plus down. 3.5 assassination attempts now since the whole mission, the whole book started, really. Because there was the Erictani, then there was the whistle knife. No, that's not what they called it. It was like a semi-AI knife blade. Then there was the Colosso with the mercenary who melted when he lost to Hadrian. And then, the Chantry, that would actually be the 0.5 after the knifey thing. So yeah, Hadrian has been through so much. He's been through so much in this one. And after the Colosso bout, though, he admitted to the emperor, because the emperor is like, why is trouble just finding you? You're making it very, very hard. You're putting me in a very hard spot. Because how am I supposed to go against the Chantry for you? Like, the empire stands on two legs. I am one and the Chantry is the other. And the Chantry's power is pretty much really unchecked, though. The emperor is only in the eyes of the people really equal to the chain tree. Like, they could get rid of him if they wanted to, and that's crazy. And yeah, but the emperor finds out that Hadrian knows about the quiet, so he finally allows Hadrian access to this archive that he has been asking for this whole time. And this is on Thesis. It's on pretty much one of the first colonies that man ever made when we left Old Earth. Also, I don't think I updated why we had to leave Old Earth and why we can't go back to it. Like, I was always questioning that before, because it's radioactive, and so we have not found out how to neutralize radioactivity yet. So we had to abandon our own planet. But they do check on it, apparently. They do check on it from time to time to see if it is still, and it is. But we had to radiate our own planet because of the Marconi. And what they're finding at this library of Gabriel's archive is a specific part of the library that was started by Emperor Gabriel II, and it contains a lot of Marconi information and relics. That way, if humans ever do try to make the mistake again, we have this to show proof and everything. But otherwise, it's been untouched for thousands of years. Nobody can look at it. Hadrian had to have the emperor's ring and a written form and seals made to be able to get into this room. But in the meantime, he's just here on this planet with this giant archive, which is another Scolius learning place. So him and Valka are enjoying their time. And he runs into Gibson. He finds out that Gibson is still alive because he was shipped as freight from Maidwa. Yeah, so it took Gibson 400 years to get to this planet. And Hadrian learns he has a sister, Sabine, and that she will take the lordship position after their father. Gibson doesn't know that much. He only receives this one report from Devil's Rest, kind of updating him on what happened with Hadrian and Crispin, and that there is another heir, and that she will inherit the seat. And Gibson drops this huge bomb on Hadrian, though, because Hadrian's she's my father's daughter. He thought it was kind of funny that Crispin got passed over. And Gibson was like, yes, she does seem to be your father's daughter, but she is very, she's left the planet. She seems to be a good fit and a good ruler. And he's like, really, if any of the children are your father, it was you. And this, just totally shook Hadrian. And he compared Hadrian to young Alistair before he lost his father. And how Alistair kind of hardened himself not to fail and not to let people take advantage like he'd seen his father get, taken advantage of. And then they get to actually go into Gabriel's archive. And the first thing they get to see is the Declaration of Independence. Because yes, okay, it says Marconi. That sounds like America. We knew they started in San Francisco, right? That's where they were first built. But pretty much in this age of history, anything that would have been the U.S., American like that, is just now considered Americani. It's all just melded together in the minds of history that is taught. Because George Washington was a lord of the Marconi. Yeah, they don't know the word president. That concept does not make any sense to them. It's just, king or emperor, like how they didn't know what Winston Churchill, if he was really a king. So they're all lords of the Marconi up to the last one that was they called him a technocrat. And he created the Marconi. And apparently the Marconi just spread across Earth until then the humans were no longer in control and the daemons were in control, and the human colonies that had already gone off-world had to come and re-control this. Otherwise, all of humans would have died because pretty much only humanity was living in space. And we were just server banks on Earth for the machines. I think there were 52. I don't know. Now, Hadrian is being forced to go on a vacation. All of the men were granted shore leave because they would be there for years, and it's been 5 years of their research. And all of the lower officers have been given shore leave. So now it's time for Hadrian's and the high officers to actually take their break. So now they're going to start that. But yeah, that's where I got to yesterday. I really wanted to get more, but alas, I was not able to. And today, also probably won't be able to get to much. I still have to do Monday's video. Tomorrow is Monday. why does this keep happening last minute? I don't know. And I don't know. But it's been so good. I like it so, so much. And I like that him and Prince Alexander were kind of able to make up. They're kind of able to make up and patch their relationship. And Prince Alexander actually went with him to Thesis, the name of this place. So he is there with him now.
I've been trying to write the review for this, and it's not working. Which just makes it very hard to film the review for this. But this will be the end of the vlog because I finished it and oh my god. Oh my god. One thing I will say that I don't understand is Prince Alexander, what happened with that. I don't know, maybe if we'd gotten to see more interactions between them? I don't know, like how that festered into that. I get him being afraid. I get him like believing whatever his mother was saying maybe about Hadrian and letting that come to the forefront when, you know, he was mad with Hadrian. But also knowing what you've seen, and I guess because you're afraid and you can't quite believe what you're seeing and against what the chantry has been preaching your whole life. And even though with his actions, he's like, Hadrian, you can tell Hadrian does not, you know, he doesn't want to try to unseat the emperor. Everything you have seen him doing. Everything you have seen him doing. But it's just, they're going to let him be ruled by this fear in that. And so what he witnessed there at the end, yeah, that's I guess going to set it up to be where it eventually gets to the point it is in the future from where Hadrian is writing this. And we also know where Hadrian is writing it. Like I think I said before that he's at like a commune or something. I wasn't super far off. He is actually at a scholiast place which he visits in his present here, and he is back there in the future after what happens at Gadodin. Oh my god, the quiet, everything we learn, oh my gosh, that was just incredible, finding that the quiet, everything about them is moving backwards through time. That was awesome. And so, and then Hadrian finally getting to talk to them again and go and find out about his future and being like, no, there must be another way. That's so many lives. I will not do this thing. And slowly, you know, coming to the realization of some things must be, and hearing the Cielsen tell that back to him. The what is his name? The Prince of Princes, the Scourge of Earth. We'll just call him that because I can't remember which one is his correct name. It had a lot of different names thrown around. He has a lot of titles too, so there's that. And him, though, the Scourge of Earth, the Prince of Princes, saying this must be the same thing that the Quiet had told Hadrian that, and that shook him. That shook him. And then what he does at the end, it's, oh my gosh, though. I mean, it's cool and it's awesome and he's like accepting it, but it's like the biggest plot armor. You've given him, this main character, the biggest plot armor now. So, and sad though, there was a sad with him, and it's foreshadowing, and I don't understand exactly, I guess, because I guess it's saying it's not going to get better, but him and Valka before the big battle and being like, this is the last we would be able to do this in waking life. Like, oh no, but at the end Valka's still there. And okay, I'm so confused now because, you know, having read just a little bit of the back of the book for book 4, and it doesn't make sense at the end of book 3. But I know there's Tales of the Sun Eater volume 2 that has to come in between them. But just the end of this book, oh my god, it shook me. And the things we found out, like I said about the Quiet, I think I'm repeating myself now, in the wider universe, and that the Cielsen do not worship the Quiet. They have bigger masters, and that the Quiet is like trillions of years into the future. How that's supposed to come to be, though, what is the Quiet? It is still quite questionable. It's not a people, but what is it exactly? And they see time differently too. They definitely see time differently. Obviously, with the whole working backwards on different planets, that's super different. I loves it, and it wasn't. I don't know. I'm gonna try to figure out how to do the review now. I'm not even writing it yet. I'm gonna try to we're gonna do it. This is gonna serve as mostly the spoiler section, so I feel like you gotta go check out the vlog that I have no B-roll for. I'm gonna go now. I hope you guys are having an awesome day and finding something awesome to read.